This is the Value Investor Podcast with Tracey Ryniec. All things value, all the time. Listeners of today's program might have an interest in value stocks similar to those Tracey shared today. If you'd like access to her Value Investor Portfolio service, which includes real-time buys and sells, market insights and commentary, visit www.zacks.com/valueinvestor or call toll-free 1-888-775-8348 between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Outside the U.S., call 1-312-265-9309. Again, that's www.zacks.com/valueinvestor or toll-free 1-888-775-8348. Outside the U.S., 1-312-265-9309.
It's time for value stocks again, and I was looking around to kind of see how many value stocks there are, with stocks trading, very close to their all-time high still. They're a little bit off those highs, but it's basically right there. And you get to think, how many value stocks are there with the overall market trading like this and valuations also higher, because the overall market is not cheap, as you know. The S&P 500 is trading up over 18 times, so I wouldn't consider that to be any kind of value market at all. But as you know, we can still find value out there amidst all the high prices and all of that. But I was curious, are there any value stocks that are actually trading near, I use 52-week highs, but, near those highs? And what do those look like? Like, what industries are they in? So I ran a screen for Zacks number ones and number twos, because I do want those rising earnings estimates. And I wanted them to be within 10% of their 52-week high. So you can screen for that. And then I used a Zacks value score of A. We have these value scores for value. It also has a growth. We have momentum, and they're, A, B, C, D, the usual, A being the best. And it doesn't necessarily mean low PE or low price to book, low price to sales as value. What it means is that there's value in these companies compared to its industry, and but also with some of those value fundamentals. So it may not be as cheap as you might think with the value score of A, but I thought I'd put it in there as a way to determine the value stocks and just see what I got. And surprisingly, I did get stocks that, have both the value score of A, so that means they're looking good in their industry, and also had other value fundamentals that we look for. So I ran that screen and I came up with about 25 stocks. So there definitely are value stocks that are trading, nearer at their 52-week high. And here's a couple of them that I really like. So the first one is Emcor. Their ticker is EME. They do construction, industrial, and energy infrastructure with like lighting, air conditioning, heating, security, fire protection, things like that. That area has been pretty hot as construction has increased, especially on the commercial side. But they just had a record second quarter with record revenue, and their backlog is up a little over 5% year over year to $3.8 billion. So I like both of those things. They aren't super cheap, but they're not crazy expensive. They have a PE of 18, so it's a little above what I would look for, but I still like it. But their price to sales is only 0.5, so that's definitely in my range. They got the earnings growth. It's supposed to be about almost 14% this year. And with this kind of company, you're going to get a dividend. So you're getting a little bit under 1% at 0.6%. So that's not great, but it's a little added bonus. And yes, it's trading within about $1 of its 52-week highs, but is still very attractive valuations here. So this is one you want to keep in mind if you're looking for something in the real estate, industrial construction area, and you don't want to buy, any of the equipment makers or real estate companies and that kind of thing. This is definitely one to keep on your radar. And they have a market cap of $7.4 billion, so they're not real small. They're definitely a player out there. So Emcor, EME. I like that one a lot. Second one is called Modine Manufacturing. They do thermal management systems. So they're in a whole bunch of areas. One of their big areas is in autos. So they do the thermal management components on the powertrains. They do building HVAC components. They do coils on custom design heat exchangers. And then they do thermal products on off highway, they call it. Products like tractors and things that farmers would use. So they're also kind of similar to Emcor. I put them in that same kind of industrial construction, but mainly industrial areas. But they're out of Racine, Wisconsin, like those Midwestern companies. And they just are celebrating their 100-year anniversary this year. So congrats, Modine, for making it 100 years from 1916 to 2016 so far. They're a small cap with a market cap of about $550 million. They don't pay a dividend, but they have some decent earnings growth. They're about 10% in fiscal 2017. And then fiscal 2018, the analysts really see a big jump of about 28%. And now this one has real value fundamentals here. They have a forward PE of 13.6, so that's definitely under what I look for, under 15, and a price to sales ratio of just 0.4. So you gotta like looking at some of these smaller industrial construction plays right here, and obviously the market is looking at them too because they're trading like right near that new 52-week high. So don't be scared of that. The third stock is called Vishay Intertechnology. These guys also have been around a while. You sometimes think with these tech stocks that they're all new or they're all within the last 20 to 30 years. But Vishay celebrated their 50th anniversary in 2012. So they've been around a little bit over 50 years now, founded in 1962. So what they do is they're one of the largest makers of, I'm quoting out of their thing because I never understand some of these tech things, discrete semiconductors and passive components. So they are in autos, the space area, computers, industrials, medical, basically everything we're using. In the second quarter, they said that autos and industrials recovered after kind of a weak first quarter and we're still doing well. So those are two areas of good growth for them. But their growth is really crazy. They're supposed to grow earnings 24% this year and another 15% next year. They have real attractive valuations here. Their PE is about 15 and a half. And their price to sales is just 0.9. So I like both of those things. And they pay a dividend, which is 1.9%. That's the best out of this group because Modine doesn't even pay a dividend. So that's not too shabby either. They have a $2 billion market cap. So I'd put them, technically, that's kind of a big small cap or a small mid cap. So they're not too small. Definitely, this is one, if you're looking in the tech area, you should be keeping on your radar because of that good growth and the other fundamentals are outstanding. So as you can see, like I said, don't be afraid of stocks that are trading at 52-week highs. I know as an investor, it's easy to say, oh, the run is over. You know, it's gained too much too fast. It's hitting those highs. Why should I get in now? And it kind of goes against the grain of value investors to be looking out there for stocks that have been beaten up for some reason or investors have fled. Investors aren't fleeing these three. They're actually getting in. So that goes a little bit against our grain. But don't be afraid of that because once you dig into the value fundamentals here, they're all real solid. Plus with the growth, which is the holy grail as far as I'm concerned, to get value and growth is fantastic. And I didn't even look for the growth in this screen. It just so happened these three had real good growth possibilities here too. So definitely, you know, don't be afraid to look at these hitting the new highs and, you know, keep an open mind because value doesn't necessarily mean where the stock chart is. It means what the fundamentals are. So look at those fundamentals. And if you can get something new 52-week highs. I know my colleague Dave Bartosiak loves buying at the 52-week highs because he thinks that trend is your friend. So definitely keep it in mind, but you can buy value with growth apparently here and some momentum. So if you want to listen to some of our other value podcasts, those are available out there on iTunes and on SoundCloud. We've covered a whole bunch of topics now, including just how to find your basic value stock and some of the value parameters that I use to find value, which is, the various ratios like price to sales and the PEG ratio. But this one, a little bit different here, how to buy stocks that are value with some momentum. So all things are possible in this market, apparently. So until next week, I'll be back with some more stocks and some more chat on what is going on in the value area.